Alright, brothers and sisters, in today's video we're talking about something very important, which is this cycle is very different from 2021 cycle or any previous cycle. And today we're going to be talking exactly about what to expect and how to prepare for it, and we're going to be looking at where we stand exactly today, looking at all the meme coins like Shiba Inu compared to today's meme coins. So with no further ado, let's get into it. Why today feels like we got a longer cycle. This cycle feels much different. Now I would say that it is a longer cycle, and that's what I'm going to try to prove here with this Ethereum chart. But most people think that we either topped or the bull market is over or all season will never happen, and that is due to more to a time capitulation more than price capitulation, and that is due to the interest rates that we see here in this orange color that were cut and went to zero right before it started to rally. But today we did not see that, causing a longer extended cycle, something that we have not experienced before, and now we're still waiting for this to be cut and drop down to start the next rally. Now this is one major reason why Ethereum and altcoins have not been performing like 2017 and like 2021. But here is the thing here, this chart on Ethereum tells us that a rally is very close. Now you see here I have this red circle. This is pretty much indicating where we stand at today, and I'm going to show you why is this the case. Now you see we have this very close similar pattern here where we have this first peak, then second peak, and then we had a crash and then a rally. You can argue as well we have these two lows here, which we have now here. It's just that they've been extended. As you can see, the distance between this low here and this low here is much longer. This is 1,000 days, and the distance from this one to this one is just half of that, which is 460 days. That is why it feels much more different today, and as I explained, it's because of the interest rates. But the most important is that the worst is behind us, and that's what I keep saying now, is that the worst is behind us because we already marked the second low today with the tariff crash here, and here was the COVID crash, which we've seen as well happen in the stock market, COVID and tariffs. Now here we have the same thing, COVID and tariffs. Both were marked by a macro event like a black swan event or something like that. So we have a lot of similarities with this, as I said, 1 and 2, and now we did again the same 1 and 2 with the tariff crash, and we recovered the same way we recovered here. We stayed here for a while, then we slowly started to grind higher, and now we recovered, and we might be grinding for a while before we start to see the recovery. On the bright side, Ethereum is holding very strong here, even though Bitcoin is just stalling, which might indicate that we're slowly shifting towards an alt season. As you can see here, the indicator on the coin market cap altcoin season index, now we're slowly coming back down towards altcoin season side and shifting away from the Bitcoin season, because today we're seeing Bitcoin struggling while ETH is holding strong. That's one reason why today I was looking at the ETH chart and I noticed that we had played the same thing here. And if we go on the weekly, usually Ethereum, once it reclaims this bull market support band, it rallies, as we can see here clearly on the weekly. We reclaim this retest, and now we are pushing forward on a strong weekly bounce. These are weekly candles bouncing strongly from it. Looks like we are pushing higher, and look what happened exactly at the same time back in the days here as well. After the COVID crash, we've seen this rally, then retest, and then slowly started to climb back up, causing a rally. And usually the bull market ends when we see a blow off top and a retest of this bull market support band. So this is how the 2022 bull market ended, with a retest and rejection, no reclaim. And today is a different story with an actual reclaim and bounce of it. This very much looks like what happened in 2019, is just it got extended. And this is another way to see that this was extended. And for example, whenever Ethereum rallies, this creates an alt season. So this is Dogecoin down below here, and this will lead us to the meme coins and where we stand. Now you see that whenever Ethereum rallies, it leads altcoins to pump and rally like Dogecoin, and we see this as well play out. This cycle is just that it fell short because Ethereum started to dump and Dogecoin topped because of Ethereum going down. And usually when Ethereum rallies, this creates an alt season. And this is something that I've seen play out over and over. And this is a very good example to tell us where we stand at today. Now, when Ethereum started to rally, Dogecoin started to follow it. And then when Dogecoin peaked, this is exactly when Shiba Inu got listed on Binance. Now, I remember this time very well. So once Shiba Inu got listed on Binance, it went on doing nothing for a long time, and it was very boring. And it was very hard to expect that there will be another rally led by Shiba Inu and Dogecoin would not pump. But the point here was that it was very boring and it felt exactly like today. And that's why here I have that we are here. Marked on the Shiba Inu chart because it does feel like it. Now I remember this time I did not accumulate more. I was buying a bit, but then I stopped because I was thinking that's it, maybe this will never pump. And that was one of the biggest fumbles I remember I had back in the time, because I was thinking that's it, it's over for Shiba Inu. It got listed on Binance, we'll never see it rally, as well as the cycle and the market was very bearish. And this was summer, by the way. This was July or June. This was pretty much from May till September, where it was just going sideways. So it did not feel like this was going anywhere, and then suddenly it rallied. But the most important is what happened when it rallied. Now we're gonna look at random meme coins that you probably never heard of, something like Shiba Inu, something from the previous cycle. And back in the days, like today, you've got Pepe and you got Pepeverse and coins related to Pepe. You got only Shiba back in the days in Dogecoin and dog related coins, and there were many of them. Now, if you were not here back in the days, you will not remember many of the coins I'm going to show you now, but these are very good example of what happens when the rallies start to happen, so that you understand what you are waiting for and you understand where I'm coming from. Now, when you see today, Pepe, in my opinion, is the new Shiba Inu, and we're gonna get to that. But let's look at Shiba Inu and what happened to dog coins. Now, you see this dog coin was randomly going sideways as well, and then once Shiba Inu rallied, this dog coin pumped. Now, this is the chart on Dex Screener for this random dog coin, and this random dog coin does not even have an updated Dex Screener, because this is way back in the time where we did not really use Dex Screeners that much. We had like PooCoin and other websites for those DEX plays. This was on no exchanges, nothing like that. This was pure DEX FOMO, and this went to $2 billion market cap as soon as Shiba Inu started to rally, and many other coins just like that started to rally. In fact, we had also Floki, which was one of the only few dog coins from the last cycle to survive and thrive. Now Floki also as well down below here rallied with the second rally of that Shiba Inu pump. Floki rallied with it. So as soon as Shiba Inu rallied, multiple coins started to rally with it, and this was within 4 weeks where Shiba Inu started to pump, and it started a major rally that took everything within 4 weeks. That whole waiting period felt finally like it's over and things started to rally. So it's a very good reminder that the waiting period is much longer than the pumping period. When things start to pump and we'll have a real strong all season and meme coin season, things can take 4 to 5 weeks, sometimes 2 months, and the pumps are over and the bull market is done. So sometimes if it might feel like it's taking a long time for things to pump, usually what I like to do is I take my time. This time is very good to DCA, dollar cost average, and accumulate these coins, because when the pump starts, they do not wait for the people that only wait for the rallies to happen. Now, this was one of my biggest mistakes back in the days here, to not keep accumulating Shiba Inu, and this was a monstrous pump. It went from 4 billion to 50 billion, causing a major rally everywhere. I also knew about Floki, and in fact, Floki was one of the coins I reaccumulated in the bull market, in the bear market back here in the lows, which was one of the coins I made off over 100x as well. But the reason I kept accumulating Floki is because I've seen what happened back here, and also because it stayed active, stayed on exchanges and all that, compared to other dog coins that just faded away. So that's a very big important thing as well. When coins stay around, this just means once things are gonna pop, they all are gonna pop together, and the waiting time will be over. So sometimes it's good to remember that waiting time is longer than what's actually pumps looks like. than the actual pumps themselves. Now this second pump on Shiba Inu was just 4 weeks and it was done. And on the 5th week it still stayed around its top and it was over. Now if you look at Dogecoin, for example, Dogecoin did not rally with Shiba Inu because it was a much more bigger market cap coin, and it topped first, then Shiba Inu topped second, and then other coins like Floki topped third. And this is very good to remember, because this will happen now, is that Pepe will pump, then you got your Pepe related coins, then will suddenly start to skyrocket, and Pepe will cool off and they will make a new all-time high or much higher, like we've seen with Shiba Inu and Floki. In this example is the rotation keeps going over and over and over and over and over. So this cycle, I do believe Pepe and Pepe related coins are the ones that are gonna lead this cycle, because Pepe is the new Shiba Inu, and everybody is now waiting for Pepe to rally to do exactly what Shiba Inu did, and Pepe is pretty much somewhere here as well. So the waiting period is pretty much almost over now, as I shown you with Ethereum. And as soon as Pepe does this 4-week candle rise, everything related to it is gonna start to rally, like Bread on It, like Darky as well, which is close to it, and all other coins that look like it. As I shown you, these random coins like Kishu related to Shiba Inu and dog coins randomly went to the billions of dollars in market cap from pretty much nothing, from pretty much 1 to 2 million, and went to 2 billion, which is over 1000x. These coins, they just did these rallies out of the blue. Now you don't have the whole chart here because Dex Screener did not exist back in the time here. And this is what pretty much this can look like. It's 2 weeks of pumps, 2 weeks, and it's done. You could be waiting for years and years, and then suddenly 2 weeks and things will pop off and go crazy, and that's about it. So that's something to keep in mind, because the market took too long right now and people are losing hope, and this is a very good example to what to expect. Now something as well I remember with Dogecoin is I did this mistake where I sold early, and I remember this because if you look at this is Dogecoin on Binance, and I remember Binance back in the days, I was looking at coins on Binance. There were not many, and Dogecoin was one of them. Somewhere around the 2020 New Year, I remember I was scrolling and talking with friends, and we talked about Dogecoin and started buying it, and then we sold very early. We sold way before even the first pump started, because other things started to pump, and then suddenly you see this. Suddenly you see this massive rally and you could not even catch it. And I remember I was waiting for a dip right around here, which never happened, and then suddenly you see this monstrous pump, which also took around 4 weeks of God candles, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th is usually the top. And on the 5th week, this is usually where you see your daily sell-offs, and then it stays around for a while here before it completely sells off. So that's a very good example to remember, that when things are going sideways, usually it's just waiting time or accumulation time. And this what happens usually. If you look at it on the weekly time frame, it's usually just 4 weeks and it's done. So that's what we're doing here. We're just waiting for this to play out, and the waiting time is longer than the pumps themselves. And as I shown you with Ethereum, things got extended for sure. That's what I see here, and people might lose hope here because it's normal. It got extended by twice the amount of 2019. This was only 400 days, and now we're looking at over 1,000 days. And this thing is still going sideways. So it makes sense that a lot of people are going to lose hope. It makes sense where we're seeing no extreme greed, no greed at all, neutral or extreme fear, because of this exact thing here, is that we got an extended cycle. Most importantly, an extended alt season, an alt season that did not happen when it should happen. And it's pretty much been Bitcoin season all along, with few here and there altcoin seasons. And so far, we have not seen a real major alt season. And before we end the video with the Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs, which still are very green, we're still seeing major buys coming in for Bitcoin as well as Ethereum. Yesterday, 62 million ETF inflows for Ethereum, which is very bullish, indicating as well that our thesis here is pretty much playing out. And Bitcoin with a 216 million, and just on the 3rd of July, this was 600 million. A lot of inflows, institutions are buying, but retail is still in disbelief. Retail is not believing at all that we're going to have an alt season. Well, unfortunately, it seems like retail is gonna miss another life-changing event again, and the big banks are gonna take advantage of that. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching it till the end, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.